We are live right now because we have a huge projection right now. Mark Kelly has won re-election to the U.S. Senate in Arizona, defeating Blake Masters. And welcome to my extended coverage. I'm Political Central, and welcome to the stream. So right now, it is 9:08 time of 2022, and we officially the Raiders dropped some Maricopa. Has extended Mark Kelly's lead, and such he has been reelected. He will will go back to Washington for a full term now. He was elected to finish the term left by John McCain. He has won a full term. He defeats Blake Masters. He is ahead by 123,000 votes. Maricopa has extended his lead further. The recent bats netted him 8K votes. Again, 8,000 votes. He netted it. It was 74K votes, and Kelly netted 8,000 of them. And it was 11% win with him. I'm trying to find what the exact numbers were, but it was enough to put Senator Kelly over the top. Again, so the new balance of power is 49 Democrats. Democrats are actually a seat away from retaining control of the U.S. Senate. They either need Nevada or Georgia to claim this Senate. In Nevada, half a bats from Solid County extended Laxalt's lead. Laxalt had an 800 vote lead earlier. He now has a 2,000 vote lead because of Douglas County came in and it put Senator Mr. Laxalt, the grandson of former Senator Paul Laxalt, who retired in 2000. Adam Laxalt, the former Attorney General of Nevada, the governor's race, Nevada has went to Republicans. And that's 4 to 5 that Democrats need to take the Senate. Nevada is the last one. It's 40 minutes away from Washoe County here. Washoe County, that is Reno, is about to drop. They took the lead in Washoe County, and she expanded it last night. Again, Mark Kelly has been reelected to senator from the state of Arizona, and that the Senate just and we're this has even been favored earlier in the cycle. The Democrats are now closing in on the 50. 2 seats are in runoffs, Alaska and Georgia, but Alaska has 2 Republicans. Republicans held that seat. And in Georgia, of course, is Walker and Warnock. Again, Joe Lombardo won the Nevada governor's race, and Mark Kelly just won re-election in Arizona Senate. was about 8K for Kelly. He in the new batch it was 8K net for Mark Kelly. These ballots were the Republican favorite, and Kelly still won by 8K in that batch. That is why he has won re-election. I'm going to go to the house. There is the House of Representatives because you have to. He has failed called this race, but New York Times has. AP called this race in this race right here. So, Democrats are quote. Republican results just came in, and this may help against the Jevin Hodge against Republican incumbent Davis Seekert. I think he came from District 4 and District 1. And it did advantage Hodge. It extended his lead. They just dropped right now. And it has given the advantage to Catherine Cortez Masto, the incumbent. The incumbent Democrat. We should be seeing them soon. As of these numbers, Laxalt leads by 2,000 votes. And we got Washoe drops. And that should be the race, honestly. We're waiting on the ballot to be coming through on the New York Times webpage. All right, Dante. So we're live right now. So you said Rossell County dropped. So what are you hearing?
I'm looking through my feed right now, trying to figure something out, but I know that CCM is going to take the lead with this batch.
All right. So what is the result? So when did this come through?
Let me see. Okay. Here's what Greg Guru of Bloomberg is saying on Twitter. That batch of WashU voters went 5,821 for Catherine Cortez Mastro and 4,691 for Adam Laxalt. That would be a net Mastro gain of 1,130. That would put her in the lead. I don't know when they're going to report that on here, but that would put her in the lead.
Right now, the
Wait,
Nevada
and
results
Ralston,
before.
and Ralston said she's leading too.
All right. The current numbers here. You said she netted 1,100 votes.
No way, Ralston lied. He wasn't. She picked up 1,100. Laxalt still leads by 800.
All right. So it's that and all the votes for Nevada
Yes.
tonight.
I don't know. That's 11K at a Washoe. She got 53%.
Oh, there it is. Here's the here's the new numbers out of Nevada. Adam Laxalt, the former Attorney General, has 467,208. Catherine Cortez Masto, the incumbent, 466,387.
Yeah, so I think what happened here is the Whirls have also kept coming in, which has bolstered him a bit. There should still be enough vote for her to take the lead. But that one, I'm going to blame that one on Ralston. He had me. He said she took the lead, and I believed him before I actually checked the results.
I was about to fact check you. Said he was behind. She was behind by 2,000 votes, and you said that she gained 1,100. So it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, no, he misread it. But it is an 800 vote now.
And this, he led by 800 before the drop, the earlier drop.
Some rurals came in a couple hours ago that boosted him up again. And there is still rural vote, but there's also a lot of Clark and Washoe vote. This could have put her in the lead, but she didn't blow him out in these ones, which she had in some of the earlier ones, so that's why it wasn't just quite enough. So we might be waiting another day for the call unless Washoe has more votes to count, which they could. They could release more tonight. But we have more to go.
So Mark Kelly has won re-election in Arizona. It just got called, and it was because of the recent batch in Maricopa. So what was the net gain in Maricopa for Kelly?
He netted about 11,000 votes. Okay, so I'm seeing some people saying that this was actually not the disproportionately R batch for Maricopa, and that's going to come tomorrow.
So this was still a Democratic batch.
This was still at least a Democratic leaning batch. So it's not going to be enough for Kelly, but it's going to make things really interesting in the Gov race, and it's going to be, not be enough for Masters, but it's going to be really interesting in the Gov race and Arizona 1.
And people are starting to call it for Hobbs.
Yeah, no one should be doing that right now.
They just called it for Senator Kelly, but I've been seeing that there's been calls for Hobbs.
Yeah, I would not do that. I think if this is not the if this is not the big box of R ballots, then yeah, then AZ01 and and Gov are still way too close to call. Now this is obviously good for Hobbs, although I will note that Schweikart actually netted votes in this. Just a couple hundred, but he netted some, so that one's going to be really, really close.
This is the skew Kurt race, right?
This is Schweikart and Jevin Hodge, yeah. Arizona 1.
And Hobbs leads Squike. I still can't. I can't pronounce this name for the best of me. But the Republican incumbent in Arizona 1, who was endangered 2 years ago, at this point as well, he was still behind. He is now down 4,000 votes. And
I don't think we're gonna get more WashU ballots today, so we might have to wait to like get on the full hype train here.
I'm looking for my sources on Twitter, see if seeing if
So okay, here's what I'm hearing about Nevada. We've got about 40 to 50K ballots left. 50,000. It's predominantly from Clark and Washoe. There's going to be a bit more in the rurals, but the math is still really bad for Laxalt. Even though he overperformed in this ballot, in this count, it's going to be really tough math for him. I still, I don't know. I'm still very skeptical about him. It's possible that if they actually counted all the WashU ballots tonight, like they said they would, that he would have been down by now.
so. Right now we got Mark Kelly winning, but
Yeah.
So what's going on with the California numbers right now?
I mean, they're starting to come
over
in.
to House. Republicans are closing in on 218. So what we got for California right now?
So if you want to go to the state and like just pick on some of the districts that aren't called, and I'll just talk about them one by one.
All right, so what we hearing about District 41, King Calvert. He has a close race.
That one's going to be really close. I think I would rather be Calvert still, but there is a big question of Calvert trailed on after the first set of ballots, and since then the later ballots have come in good for him, but they've come in increasingly less good. So earlier, let me go to my math. The last vote dump before tonight gave him about 60% of its votes. Tonight he got about 52%. That's a big drop. So if we're going on that trend, the Democrat in this race will sure to win the next drop of ballots. And to be clear, even after all this, Rollins is only down by like 1 point. So it becomes a question of how many votes are left in CA 41, and is the trend that we're seeing with the late ballots, is that going to continue and it's going to become more and more favorable towards Democrats? Because if that's the case, then Calvert is kind of screwed. If it's not, which it might not be, we don't totally know. We're kind of in the dark here. Then Calvert is probably the favorite. I have heard a lot of like debate between people, smart California people, about whether this race is like over or it's like just begun.
So let's talk about the Orange County districts right quick.
Yeah, Orange County. So there are a few races that I think are over. Mike Levin and Katie Porter are fine. That's they're done. They're in the lead. The ballots coming in have just padded their lead. I think that race is done.
How about the one on the border of Nevada that's still uncalled? The old
I, I would be
McClintock district.
I would be surprised if something happened there. I think that's pretty safe for Republicans. I would be pretty surprised if something happened there. Now we'll see. I think the trend will be that it gets closer, but we will see. Also, I realized with Orange County, I forgot to mention California's 45th. I wouldn't call it for Michelle Steele. It will get closer, but I think she's pretty safe as well. It should get much closer, but I think she's pretty safe unless the ballots come in at a way more intense rate for Jay Chen than they're currently coming in, which it's possible because we've seen in the CA 41 race that the ballots have increasingly favored the Democrat by a bigger and bigger margin. We just can't predict that right now. So we'll see. I'm doubtful of it, but I mean, they were literally able to call California 21 on election night back in 2018, and we all know what ended up happening there. So I would never make that call.
And we just for the record, we just got a statement from Nevada Governor Sisolak. He has officially conceded the race to Joe Lombardo. Joe Lombardo was projected to win about an hour ago.
Yeah, I mean that one in a way has been over for a bit. It was just it was clear he was underrunning Cortez Mastro, and he just wasn't going to catch up to her. He used underrunning her by too much. He wasn't going to win by enough to put him over. In order for Sisolak to win, she would have had to win by like maybe 3 or 4 points. She's probably going to win by like 2 at best.
All right, so we're here. So you said yesterday that Congressman, I think it was Troy Garcia, is gonna run for mayor of Chicago.
Yeah.
And how will that affect a potential 218, 217 race?
It's going to be weird. It's going to be really weird because then he'd be resigning from the House. But with all that said, if he was not elected mayor, he would not have to resign. He would not have to resign if he wasn't elected mayor. He could just stay in the House until he gets elected, then resign, which would definitely change some stuff.
All right, so let's talk about Belbert right quick. She somehow has been in serious trouble.
Yeah, she's fine. That race is over. That race is over. There still might be a recount, but at this point, I kind of doubt that there'd be a recount. Anyways, that race is over.
All right, from Wasserman, he said that it expanded the lead of Hodge.
I don't think it did. No, it did. It didn't. He said he continues to lead.
Oh.
He lost some votes. Schweikart netted some. That one's going to be super, super, super close. And again, it really depends. Those election days?
Katie Porter's lead is 4,555 votes over Ball, and it looks like Porter will win. It looks like Levin will win.
Yeah.
How's it going for Mike Garcia over there in California 27?
I'm still going to put that race as it's still around. I've seen some people call that race, and I wouldn't do that, but Garcia is clearly favored. He has a pretty big lead. But, Los Angeles is counting its votes so slowly that it's not going to matter.
So in the race we still have, or I think most of these races will be called by the end of tomorrow. But how's it going for Washington 5 there in this?
Washington's
Not
third.
Washington.
I think Oregon
Yes.
5 or Washington 3.
Let's go over both.
I think Oregon 5 is pretty much over for Democrats. With Clackamas County, it's still out, and she was needing to win those by like 20 points, and she's been winning them by like 2 or 3. I think it's over.
So what's going on in Washington's third?
Yeah, I think Democrats are going to win that one. It's very close. It's going to be close, but once again, Clark votes. Kent is overperforming in them. But he's winning them by like almost a dead even margin, and he needs to be winning them by like 6, 7, 8 points at this point. And he just hasn't done that. And if he doesn't start doing it, and it's going to get harder and harder for him to do as there are less and less votes. I mean, it's a 5,000 vote lead for the Democrat. I think Kent is running out of room there, and I think it's almost over.
We still have not have a call in Maine, even though Golden is getting close to that magic number of 50%.
So the Maine Secretary of State has said a few times now that he's not going to make it to 50%. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll just have to wait.
So it looks like the Senate will be decided tomorrow, maybe the House as well.
I'm doubtful of the House. I think it's going to have to wait for California, and yeah, it's going to be
take weeks.
Yeah, it's. I don't think the House will be called tomorrow.
It is still favored that Republicans will be the majority, but what's going on with the speakership race for Leader McCarthy right now?
It's pretty close. I mean, Chip Roy says no one has 218 votes. Bob Good says they're going to try and knock him out of the speakership. I don't necessarily know that I trust Bob Good and Chip Roy as reliable sources of information on House politics. And those are the only two guys who have said anything so far, but obviously there is a sign. And of course, if this race ends up being super close, we might have to see like a speaker compromise vote or something. It's going to be weird, but I definitely think it gets harder and harder for McCarthy to become speaker the less and less the GOP wins the majority by. And at this point, it's pretty clear that it's going to be a pretty close majority.
Like I've always said, the Republicans need about 230. They're going to fall a little short of that, it looks like.
I mean, I think the best case scenario for the GOP at this point is probably like 222.
Which is the Democrats' current number right now.
And honestly, I think it'll probably be lower than that. I really do think it could be like a 1 or 2 seat majority either way.
Which means the House is in play next year. In 2 years, if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, if you can win on average in New York districts, then you can flip it. It's pretty crazy that in an election that was supposed to be a red wave, I mean, we're going to be able to call the Senate for the in party before we can call the House for the out party. And there's a higher chance of the out party flipping one of the in party holding on to the House than there is of the out party flipping the Senate. And that's been the case for like the entire week.
So what's been going on with the House? So what did Tom Emmer, obviously the Democratic campaign committee chair, lost re-election because he's in a swing district, which is, I honestly think it's always a dumb idea to have your campaign committee chair in a swing district. But what mistakes did Tom Emmer do to cost him this majority? Well, cost them like to get them to that number.
Frankly, to an extent, Republicans kind of got high on their own supply and believed their own hype, similar to how Democrats a couple of years ago believed that they were really going to, they were going to really take over the House, and they didn't. They really underperformed. it's kind of a similar thing, and I think Republicans got just a little too focused on making inroads in blue districts. And while that worked to an extent, I mean, they flipped a bunch of seats in New York. It looks like they're going to be able to flip at least one seat in Oregon, and maybe some seats but Rhode Island, they couldn't flip anything. New Hampshire, they came up empty. Connecticut, they came up empty. Maryland, they came up empty. Illinois, they came up empty. Nevada, um, New Mexico, California, they're probably going to come up empty. And so, and you take that and then you look at what they did in swing races. I mean, the Republicans in swing races did horribly. And so you have to consider candidate recruitment. I mean, if you look at the Senate, the Republicans nominated really bad candidates for their 4 key races, and you saw that mirrored across the House this November. And really just goes to show the average voter does not really care about this weird stuff the GOP has gotten into. The GOP could have run on school choice, lower taxes, fighting inflation, fighting crime, and that would have been a workable message. But they ran on extreme positions of banning abortion. They ran on transphobia. They ran on, making a lot of, attacking teachers. They took so many things too far, and it really ended up damaging them in the long run. So I think after this election, you're going to see a shift from the GOP and a kind of attempt to reconcile, what voters of the country are looking for with what the party is now.
Yeah, and I believe they just listen to. They just put too much. Definitely want to sit on Trump. Like they definitely Trump's can. I think Trump is to blame. Emmer and McCarthy all have equal blame here. If it's because this should have been an easy. This should have been called at least at 9 o'clock last night on Tuesday night, with all those redrawn races in Florida and Tennessee and Georgia. Like they should have had this house locked up already.
Yeah, it should have been locked up quite a while ago.
Hello, Dante?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, but I have to say it was good down ballot work by the Democrats too. Like their Ohio, yeah, Democrats. Tim Ryan, he helped. It was some cults too. Cherry Beasley helped. Nickel Behinds in North Carolina. He helped Alex Chabot. He helped retain his seat in Colorado. They helped get Colorado aid. They almost used the coattails to get rid of Boebert, which is the huge surprise of this cycle. Because Boebert shouldn't have been endangered.
Okay, so I have to go because I'm running out of power and some
So
stuff. And
I would just say Democrats did a good job with their candidates up the ballot. They performed very well, and it showed down ballot too in states like North Carolina.
But before I go, I'm just gonna basically line
Yeah,
up the seats
I have to
the
go
seats to
too.
watch
All right.
for the House control.
Thank you, y'all, for watching, and we'll see you. I think we'll be back here tomorrow, I believe.
Maybe no, I won't.
All right. All right, y'all. So before I go, I'm gonna go over. So let's see here. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So this is Alex Padilla in California. We're about to go to. Solid red. What did I... Alright, solid blue state. Padilla has 60-40 over Mark Mauser. Should... So here's Orange County. He's currently losing it, but it's so it'll end. Padilla could win Orange County, and that would be good news for the Democrats. So Colorado. So Michael Bennett might have won this Boebert's district. That's why Boebert is in a very bad situation right now. Like, he may be in trouble next year, in 2 years. If Biden overperforms here in 2 years, he may be in trouble because he may be in trouble. But again, so little is left. Again, Ohio. Here's the new district for Ryan. Ryan won it easily. Ryan was the reason why that Cincinnati district flipped. In Pennsylvania, this is Fetterman and Shapiro. They helped carry Matt Cartwright to victory. They helped Susan Wild win re-election. They helped Democrats retain their Lamb district. Are you kidding me? Mike Masters is he really doing that, bro? Again, Blake Masters is calling for McConnell to be removed, and I don't think he has a say in that because he is not going to go to Washington. It will be Mark Kelly going back for a full 6-year term now. Right now, I'm being told we will not get any more Nevada results tonight. So, but again, we'll be back here tomorrow. The focus is the House. The GOP is approaching 218, but we may not know how long it will be until they actually take control of the House. It may be tomorrow, maybe 2 weeks, it may be Christmas. Or maybe next year when Troy Garcia resigns. There's still a slight chance Democrats keep the House. We'll be back here tomorrow, and thank you guys so much for watching.